Bada bing, bada boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Are we on? Are we on? Testing mic check 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me? What's going on, y'all? Welcome to 6 to 6. Hey, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. It has been a crazy week. That's just to say the least, man. It has been wild out here. How y'all doing? Um, we in here. Tonight I am keeping it. I'm gonna keep it short. I got a lot of stuff to do, y'all. It's been crazy, man. How y'all doing out there? What's the word? Any of y'all been going through stuff, man? Y'all got car notes. How's the housing market where y'all live? Rent. All this stuff is crazy, man. What about the hotels? You guys, anybody living in hotels, working on the road? Y'all know how that is, man. But yeah, pretty much tonight, man. I'm just keeping it simple. I'm keeping it short, sweet. Talk about the field, whatever y'all want to know, all that stuff. It has been super fast paced. Right now, I've been trying to look for a place, rent versus buying a house. Man, I don't know if you guys live under a rock or anything, but if you guys do live under a rock, the housing market is insane right now. I mean, everything's high. Everything's high right now. Like it's ridiculous. You cannot find a garbage can for $1,500 a month, man. Like I don't know what's going on right there, man. I don't know. Anyone living in a garbage can? If you are, I don't even blame you. I don't know, man. Right now, I've seen a few overpasses that don't look too bad. They're not too noisy, man. There's a few guys, right where I stay at. There's a few tents I saw right at the underpass. Like they've got prime real estate. They're close to a 7-Eleven, close to the freeway. Obviously, I don't know about weather conditions or mosquitoes or anything, but hey, man, they're down. I think there's like four tents right by this freeway on ramp that I live at. But man, hey, it is insane trying to find somewhere. You've got people who don't care. How are y'all doing this? I need to know, how are you guys out there affording this stuff with rent? Y'all got rent, car notes, and y'all got credit cards, man. And kids, y'all gotta be scamming. I don't know what y'all doing out there, but I need to know. Are y'all scamming? If y'all are, I need in on that, man, because this 9 to 5 stuff, hey, where's the scam? It's crazy out there, man. It's crazy. But how y'all doing out there? I am hanging on by a needle, man. By a needle, and I'm just like, just one more thing. I just need a couple more things to break. My car is broken. What else? Well, I'm still here. I'm still alive. So I love that. But hey, man, how y'all doing out there? It is cooking. Is it hot where y'all at? He said living. Man, I know, dude. Like, hey, it is tough right now. So right now I got a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. Everything's a give it a take. It's very nice. I wouldn't say, well, yeah, I guess by definition, I am apartment poor / house poor because half of my income goes to rent. You know what I'm saying? They say you should only be spending about a third. No, is it a third? About a third of your income should be going on rent. And like me and most Americans, it's mostly 50 to, sometimes 60% of your income going towards rent. Nothing else. Literally base rent. That isn't any, what do you call it? No payments to nothing else. Nothing. Just base rent. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, what's the give and take of that? You know, do you want to go live in the hood and find somewhere cheaper? You know, you might get shot at. You might get your stuff broken into. Do you want to take that risk? Hmm. Not me. You know what I'm saying? It's everything is a give and a take, right? So I got a nice place. I got the pool that I can go to, which yeah, I use the pool a lot. My son loves to use it. But they want me, check this out. They want me to re-sign. They asked if I wanted to re-sign the lease. I said, cool. They literally are going up. They want me to go up $320. Y'all smoking dick. People don't even get raises like that. They literally said, I did the math. It was like $320. I don't know. Are y'all out there getting raises like that? Because I ain't. There ain't. I've never heard of that. I don't even know the percentage on it. But they offered to go up an extra $320. Obviously, I said no. And then they came back, and I think they had dumbed it down to like 280 or something. And I'm like, dude, there ain't no way that you guys are comfortable sending me this email. Because I know you guys live somewhere, right? You guys have got to be paying rent, and you're sending this email asking me if I would be comfortable with spending an extra $330 added to where I live already right now. I'm not making that up. That's what's going on. You know what I'm saying? But you know what? I kind of see why people are complaining. You know what? I didn't have this problem when I was traveling. You know, the money was never an issue because I know that I could get here, work, you know, a few 12-hour shifts. I can go over there. There was a bunch of options that I could do if I wanted to work overtime. It's a little different when you have a 9 to 5. When you have a 9 to 5, you know, that's what you're gonna make. This is it. This is it. This is what it's across the board. That's one thing that I do miss about working in the field, you know, and traveling. The money just comes fast, you know. It's easy to make, but you know, I got a different life. Everything's a give and a take. Like I always talk about on this channel, everything's a give and a take. If you got a 9 to 5, you've got consistency. You can do stuff, plan things, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And the money might be different. You know, companies make so much off the little guys. It's crazy. 50,000 used to be a lot. Now you need 100,000 to live somewhat comfortable, as it seems. Yeah, that's crazy. Dang, man. Yeah, if you really think back in the day, like anyone who was making 50 or 60,000, like that was good, man. Like 50, 60,000 was middle class. You know, apartments were, you could literally get an apartment for $400, $350. Like I remember my first apartment was in a nice neighborhood. It was a simple average apartment. Had a washer and dryer inside. It was a 1-bedroom. It was $550. I don't remember the exact address, but it was North Bennington Ridge in Kansas City. My very first apartment, North Bennington Ridge. In 2008, I was paying $550 a month. You know what? I'm curious. I wonder what that apartment is going for. Let's see, man. I gotta see this. How much have things been going up? This is crazy. North. You know what? One of these days, I'm gonna figure out how to share my screen, guys. I'm sorry. Bennington Ridge. And I am a terrible speller. Kansas City. There it is. It came right up. Not now, guys. Come on. Is it still called the same? Wow. Oh my God, that's it. Look at that. They had a pool there? Oh, it was cold when I was over there. I don't remember that. That's funny. Yes, continue. What's the rent over there now? Wow, it hasn't even doubled. So I had a 1-bedroom, 1-bath. That's going for $895. I was paying $550. Wow. Well, shout out to Kansas City. Shout out Kansas City. That same apartment is going for $895. It hasn't even doubled. That's cool. Because there ain't a lot of places like that where it has doubled. That's crazy, man. But this is where we're at. But hey, one of the reasons why I did like traveling, when you travel, when you're traveling and welding, the money is just, you don't really think about this stuff, because you're making it so fast. You're working all the hours in the world, and it's just, you just don't think about it. $895, damn, that's cheap. One bedroom in the East Coast is about double that. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, that was in Kansas City, man. And you know what's crazy? Dude, now that I think about it, you can do pretty good at Kansas City. They've got Kansas City is pretty strong on the unions. It's the Midwest. Actually, I know one of the locals there. Shoot, man. I know Boilermaker wage in Kansas City is like $45, $47 an hour. Shoot, there's places in like, Atlanta. You can't even think about getting an apartment for $1,000 that ain't even paying $47 an hour for a welder. Shoot, and then in Kansas City, you got a big rail yard out there. Oh man, I just dropped my cap. You got the rail yard out there. There's a lot. Oh my God, there's a ton of railroad jobs in Kansas City that you can get to that pay really well. But it's not to discourage anybody from the 9 to 5, but you just have to. I don't know, man. Like I said, pick your poison. You got to pick what it is. You can find heavy industrial jobs that are 9 to 5s, like if you want to work on the railroad, or if you want to work at a specific power plant, for the plant and not necessarily contract. That's an option too that you can always do, and you can make you can make a lot of overtime. You got to remember these power plants are running 24/7. So there's plenty of overtime options available. Me personally, I do not like 24-hour jobs. The railroad has bank just like oil and gas. Yeah, man, they do. I made pretty good money on the railroad. Just me personally, I did not like getting paid twice a month. I was spoiled with welding, being in the field. I was always getting paid every week. The railroad, at least the railroad that I knew, you get paid twice a month. I didn't like that. So that's just me personally. But hey, just wanted to give you guys, a quick update or whatever. I do have interviews, videos coming up. It has been hectic, guys. Busy. I am trying to keep you guys engaged as best as I can. I am going to be setting aside I need 2 days. I'm going to be setting aside 2 days where I am going to just throw content out for you guys. I have not forgot about your video where I am going to be talking about the winter clothes and the summer clothes, the best things that you can wear to get yourself better prepare yourself for the field and the industry. Hey, the crippled man, what's up? Hold on, give me a second. Can you hear me?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, what's going on? Long time. I've been waiting.
Oh
Hey
man,
guys, welcome. It is the crippled handyman from Chicago. Is that right?
I grew up in Chicago, worked through Chicago. I'm in Colorado now,
Okay.
and I travel. Uh, like I just got back from Alaska, building
Oh
a
wow.
new canning machine for a brewing company,
Wow.
and
Okay.
it was $1 million machine that came from straight from Germany. And I got to work with these two Germans that built the machine for Leibinger.
Mm.
And check out my video. You'll see like a shipping container. It's like
Yeah.
an hour video. It's from the start to the end of the whole machine. And I got to bring home a case of the first beer that was ran through that machine.
What? No way.
Yeah, really cool opportunity to work on something like that. It's a cool video. It's probably one
Yeah.
of my proudest videos I've done. I'm just so busy just thinking outside the box to make more money.
Yeah.
And I've popped up on Jack Morgan's channel and
Yep.
trying to just push in the trades, and don't be afraid to work with these things. You
Yeah,
know,
man. Yeah.
with your hands. I mean, you got a skill being a welder, and it's like you probably pick up other things down the road besides doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Okay. I don't want to forget this question. I have a serious question I want to ask you now. Now that you've said it. Um, when you were working on this deal in Alaska, what do you think about the way that Germans build things? From my perspective and what I've heard and seen, is quality, right? Like, are they the ones that are like? Would you put them above the United States as far as engineering?
Oh yeah, 100%.
100%.
They're way better. Let me tell you something.
Wow.
Who do you think designed the atomic bomb in the 40s? They took the German scientists. They took them from Germany and their families here to America, the
Oh my
scientists, to
god.
build the atomic bomb.
Oh my god. I didn't know that one. The only one I knew was the turbine engine. That was the only one that I knew. Right?
Yeah,
For the
they're
jets.
they're above and beyond. Well, think about it. All these big cranes,
Yeah.
they're built in
Yeah.
From Germany. These huge
What?
300-ton, 400-ton cranes,
Yeah.
and they're like, I think they're called Leibinger.
That's why I can't pronounce it. It's German. Oh my god. There it is. I believe it.
They
I get it.
are they are genius.
Wow. I've got goosebumps right now. There is one. I don't know. I'm ashamed of it. I should be a lot better on knowing the name of these cranes, but I live in Hampton Roads, Virginia, and I was driving across the bridge, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, this thing is massive. And supposedly they're setting out these wind farms out in the middle of the ocean, and there is this gigantic ship that has this huge crane on there. It's crazy. The boom on it has got to be over 200 foot tall. Easy, like easily 200 over 200 foot, but it's massive. And just to hear you say that just kind of not really boggles my mind, but it just kind of says, okay, and I saw one. I remember watching this video where they were talking about the Germans, and they were saying that out there they look to see, okay, how can we work efficient with as less people as possible? You know what I mean? And I'd really like to know more about what you are working on, man.
Yeah, this machine is so high tech. The two guys, Mirko and Toby, awesome
Uh-huh.
Germans.
Yeah.
Two awesome guys, young guys, 30 and 24. They went through their apprenticeship in
Uh-huh.
Germany to
Wow.
become like machinists.
Okay.
And Leibinger hired them to actually build the machine from January through March. And then they
January
shipped it over from Germany to Alaska,
Okay.
and it arrived a week late. And we ended up working 12, 14-hour days to make sure we still kept our schedule. And these
Okay.
guys are not afraid to work. I mean, it was like 9
Really?
o'clock at night. I am dead exhausted. I'm like, Miracle, I am dead. I've been here since 7.
Yeah.
I'm on 14 hours. I'm on fumes. They're like, oh, we're just going to stay a couple more hours. I'm like, all right, well,
What?
maybe you're a lot younger than me. Maybe that's what it is. I'm like, I gotta get back, get some shut eye, and then I'll come back in the morning. But the
Yeah.
guys, their skills and their talents are amazing. They have such great training, education in all the trades.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
Miracle lived in actually Boulder, Colorado for a couple years,
Uh-huh.
and they traveled throughout the United States, building canning machines, bottling machines throughout
Okay.
companies throughout our country. And I
Yeah.
asked him, I'm like, would you rather live in the U.S. or Germany?
Uh-oh.
And he said Germany all day.
All day.
He goes, your country's just messed up.
Mm,
He goes, and your
Oh.
food is the worst. All the
Oh
processed
man.
crap. He goes, I've never seen so much. He goes, I get sick when I eat the food in America.
Oh my God. You know what? That's funny you say that. I worked in Qatar for about 3.5 months, and I'm a junkie. I eat out all the time, but not necessarily bad, but I eat at the same restaurants. I literally ate at the same exact restaurants overseas at Red Lobster, Texas Roadhouse, PF Chang's, Papa John's, McDonald's, KFC. I ate at literally the exact same restaurants. It tasted the same, but when I went to like use the bathroom or anything, it was easier. I felt better, and then when I got back over here, I'm like, dude, what's wrong with this stuff? Like that's when I realized this stuff is poison, man. This stuff is
Processed. Our
poison.
food is poison.
It's terrible. It's
I mean, we go out of our way. I mean, it's already upsetting enough what we spend for food for just my wife and I. We try to stay at 200 a week.
yeah,
Try.
yeah,
I mean, that's a struggle, and that's eating healthy. And you know, and I came to terms like a year ago with
yeah,
inflation and everything else. It sucks. I mean, I keep
uh,
pushing guys and gals, get in the trades, do something, get
yeah,
get a skill, get some sort of skill. Where say around your own home, if you ever end up with your own home, you don't have to pay somebody to fix it. You can fix it yourself. But just well, no, just with the food stuff, it just drives me nuts. But my whole point, what I was gonna say was, I'm like, well, I got to make more money. That's the only way I'm going to survive. I could
I
bitch about
know.
it, complain about it.
Yeah.
I got to make more money, and so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to do whatever I got to do. So I'm traveling, doing whatever I have to do to make more money, and
Oh man.
it's paying off. I mean, I'm comfortable,
Yeah.
but it's like
Yeah.
I have a skill. I have a company in Alaska that loves me to death. I mean, I never built a
Nice.
canning machine, but they're like, listen, we need you to quarterback this project, this whole canning system, because we're shut down for 7 days, not producing, not canning beer.
Oh, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. People,
So
guys, I don't know if you guys are listening, but man, just to be shut down for a day is a big deal. But let alone 7 days when you're processing stuff. Just for you guys that don't know, that's a big deal. That's a deal.
yeah, so
Wow.
it was great work with these guys. We got along,
Yeah.
and just great. It was just great seeing young men, 30
Oh
and
man.
23, ambitious, proud of being in the trade they're in, proud of it.
Oh
And it's
man.
just my main background was a mechanical contractor. And then I used to
Okay.
spec build homes, and then I spec built some retail buildings and stuff. And then I did a
Mhm.
lot. Then I got in the big world doing schools and hospitals, and it just got overwhelming of knowledge. You're learning stuff. It was
Okay.
nonstop learning, and
All right.
then I figured my wife. I'm like, all right, let's just do our own thing. We have our own construction management company,
Wow.
and it's just the coolest thing ever. I just take my knowledge. I'm 55,
Yeah.
and it's like you're going to gain knowledge you know uh, every year you work, you're going to learn something new.
Right.
Even at my age, I never did. I'm learning how beer tap systems work and stuff like that. I never did a beer tap system before. Last year was my first one. I remember doing it at a restaurant. I did it
Yeah.
at Ted Stevens Airport in Anchorage, Alaska, and I'm like, oh, okay. So
Wow.
now I'm prepared and knowing what I have another bear test system I'm going to be putting in the next couple months at another restaurant, and it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
Okay,
So
so if you don't mind explaining what is it exactly that you're doing right now as far as the the drinks and stuff like, are you building a boiler or what exactly are you doing?
we're doing for 49th State Brewing. It's a big restaurant. There's a chain restaurant by a single owner in Alaska,
Okay.
and he's building a tasting room at the brewery. So at the brewery, it's going to be 40 tap system. So I'm building a restaurant. It's got
Yeah.
bathrooms, a big walk-in cooler. and
Yeah.
and the science labs for the scientists for the microbrew, and then to get the formulas perfect for the beers. If they're
Whoa.
trying a new beer, they have
Yeah.
over 100 flavors of beer,
Okay.
and plus they produce their soda. So I'm building this next project I've been working on for the last few months.
All right.
Um, it's called the Taste of the Tap Room. So they'll have like pizzas, maybe some burgers, primarily pizzas and just simple stuff. But it's like you go in there, you get to sample 40 different types of beer.
Okay. And it's in Alaska.
It's in Alaska, Anchorage,
Okay.
Alaska, and I'm the
Anchorage. Okay.
construction manager. So I
Okay.
go out, I get all the bids. Um, then once all the bids are fine, I go over, I work with the owner, and
Wow.
then he'll be like, okay, let's go with this bid, this bid, this bid. You know, these different contractors, who's going to win, the carpenter contractor, plumbing, electrical,
Uh
uh,
huh.
tile, seal, whatever. You know, all the typical contractors. It's an existing building, and so it's like a tenant build out, but it's for the actual owner's own building that he owns. That we're putting this whole tasting room in.
Okay.
And I have a couple videos of that where the room was blank. If you go back in some of my videos, and then when I was just out there, I was able to build this. I'm able to build a project 2,400 miles away just with a phone, you know, more or less communication with emails, text messaging, and
Yeah.
it's been really cool. When I flew out there to do the canning machine was a primary focus, but I
Uh
still
huh.
had the tasting room I was working on at the same time. I was impressed the progress from being here, what I was able to do, you know, far away. It's
Oh
like
man.
it's really cool. I mean, next week the rubber flooring's going in the science labs, and pretty soon the scientists in 2.5 weeks, the scientists will be able to start moving into their labs. So
Wow.
it's that's what I'm working on as you know construction management, um, and I learned all that stuff being a mechanical contractor, HVAC. I
Okay.
started, yeah, I did that for 30 plus years.
Oh
But
my
the
God. That's
company I
a.
worked for in Chicago, we
Mm-hmm.
did big projects. There were $1 million HVAC jobs, you know, doing
Wow.
schools and hospitals, fire stations, libraries,
Yeah.
treatment plants, all kinds of different HVAC jobs. But
Yeah.
we were like a general contractor. So
Uh
say
huh.
we're the main focus of the project. Say we do a college and we're replacing all the air handling equipment, the chillers, the boilers.
Yeah. I know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
so so in the interim, like I may need a carpenter to come on site. I may need a roofer and all that. So I
Uh
was
huh.
like the first test guy. You know, like, well, I used to build houses. I could run all this stuff, and it was very
Whoa.
successful. And then so now I'm working with that, and then now it's just like years and years and years of you know
Mm-hmm.
working in construction. You think you know everything. Well, I never thought I knew everything. I know a lot. But
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, like you get into your industry, like
Yeah.
the big industrial side, I
Yeah.
only did one industrial job.
Yeah.
And
Where
I'm like,
at?
wow, this is big.
Where'd you do it at?
It was at the little refinery in Blue Island, Illinois.
Where? Blue Island, Illinois. Where is that?
It's a suburb, so it's near Chicago.
I haven't. You know what? The only place I've worked at is you know where BP is on the Indiana side, East Chicago.
Yeah.
That's the only refinery that I've worked at in that area. I had a chance to go to. I don't know if it's called Citgo or P66, but there's a refinery somewhere in Romeoville or
P60
I
66.
I think it's either P66 or ConocoPhillips. I get them
Yeah,
mixed
in
up, but I know.
Romeoville.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, that's in Romeoville. That one caught on fire. They had an explosion back in the 90s. A buddy of mine got injured really bad. He was
Oh
working
wow.
there years ago. He was
Mm.
a pipe fitter. And I know a lot of my pipe fitter buddies, they work in refineries, but uh,
So from what you were doing on the HVAC side, what from your transition from working with your hands to working with your cranium, what has been your best year and your worst year, you think? Like, since you've been working with your brain, what's been your worst year where you were like, you know what, I only made 30,000, or I only made, I don't know. But what was your worst year and what was your best year where you're like, you know what, I think I can do this?
Financially or mentally?
Um, let's say both, because everything's gonna have a give and a take. And then one of the guys asked if you were union versus non-union. I don't know what
I
he
was
said.
both. I started.
Okay.
I was with a family business, Jim Robson Sheet Metal. My grandfather started it. My
Nice.
father took over it, and I got involved. And I bought it. I had to buy a percentage. Yeah, I had to buy a percentage of a family. I got 10%. So
Oh
I
man.
put 30 grand into the business to get my 10%. I was
Oh my god.
28 years old when I did that.
That's a
Uh,
nice took a change for a 30-year-old. Nice. 28-year-old. Sorry.
yeah, I was 28. Yeah, but what I did was since I turned say 22, 23, I was doing side work. That was a great
Okay.
thing. I Sony's new furnace, Sony's an air conditioner. All of a sudden, someone's building a new house. In the
Yeah.
90s, things were booming. Things
Oh
were
man.
booming in the 90s. And I had so many
Wow.
people coming to me, hey, I got a house and do you want to do the HVAC on the side? And I was making
What?
30 to 50,000 extra cash throughout the 90s, plus what I was making. That was in my salary.
Do you
I mean, I
guys
was
hear
never
what he's
salary.
saying? Do you? I don't think people are understanding that. This guy was making that much money cash in the 90s. In the 90s, that sounds insane.
That was
Oh
that
my
was
god.
bonus money. That was bonus money. I was making 55, 60,000 in the 90s.
God,
Plus the
dog.
30 to 50. So I was always pushing, I was always almost hitting 100 grand in the 90s.
Man,
And
that's
then,
like, God, dog.
yeah, and then in the early 2000s, when I got in the union in 98,
Yeah.
and I'm
What,
making
597?
85. No, that's pipe fitter. I was sheet metal, local 73.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah,
Okay.
sheet metal union. Yeah, local 73. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, my grandfather, my father, when I got in it, my dad got out of the union. So I got
Okay.
gypped my first 15 years. I was non-union. Someone said, so my first 15 years, my father was number one in trade school,
Yeah.
and they wanted him to be the teacher at the trade school at
Okay.
Washburn.
Okay.
He was my teacher for 15 years.
All right.
And so I learned the craft from him and my grandfather.
Uh huh.
And then the BA and the president of the union knew my father. And then I'm like, you know, got my card. And they're like, what do you not know how to do? I'm like, well, I don't know. He goes, you're a Robson. You're, I know your dad. I know your grandfather. So if your dad taught you, and I've seen your job, you guys are doing work like union workers. I'm like, my father
Yeah.
never cut corners. He
Oh, that's good.
maintained the union scale as far as the union quality of work
Uh huh.
all the way through. And so when I transitioned to this big commercial company, it was a whole new world for me. Um, I just
Wow.
kept learning. But at my end years, I would be pulling down. I was pulling down probably 150 in my end years. That would have
Okay.
been about two 2013 of
Oh,
that.
that's good.
Yeah,
That's good money. Oh yeah, that's 2013. That's real good money.
yeah. I was a superintendent, so I was using I was always a foreman,
Uh huh.
no matter what. I was always running men, even at 18 years old with
Mm-hmm.
my father's company.
Yeah.
He would give me like the small tri levels, a simple 2-story, 2,300 square foot. And I would say by the time I was 23, 24, I started doing bigger stuff. I was in charge of the shop fabricating. He taught me how to fabricate fittings, how to weld, how to solder, how to braze. Yeah, my father was. Yeah, I understood why they wanted him to be the teacher at the Union Trade School because
Oh
he
wow.
was smart. He was good. He was smart. He was not a hack whatsoever. And if I had something that was not even this off a quarter inch, he's like, straighten that out.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
know what? That's
you can, yeah. So it was perfection was key to our company, and then it just being the son, he was harder on me than any of the guys.
yeah.
And so you make sure you don't make a mistake. You make sure, and then he taught me how to do service, and then servicing rooftop units. Besides furnaces, air conditioners,
Wow.
get into
Uh
rooftop units. And then when I got to the commercial side, holy shit,
huh.
rooftop units the size of a freaking semi trailer. 30,
Yeah.
40,000 pounds. Like, holy shit, running. When you're talking about a crane earlier, you're talking about you saw a crane on the ship on doing those windmills or whatever.
Yeah.
Gosh, what's the name of the school? Holy shit. It's near O'Hare Airport in Chicago.
Uh huh.
And we had a 300-ton crane out there.
Okay.
It took forever. We had to get all the permitting we had to coordinate with the airport because the boom was so high. It
Oh
was in line of
wow.
the air traffic. And so we had to
Wow.
coordinate so perfectly. It's like if aircraft's flying in that zone, we got to
Yeah.
bring that boom down. I think the boomstick went over
Wow.
400 feet.
That's
It was
oh
it
man,
was
that's crazy.
huge. I mean, they took them a week to build the crane, on site,
Ah,
just
that's big.
just for HVAC, just picking up our huge units. I mean, these units are. I mean, you've probably seen these units; they're huge. And then what you do? I mean, you're talking freaking the industrials. it's
Yeah,
it's huge.
it is. And you know what's funny is now, so now I have a 9 to 5 now. And I never knew this terminology that you're talking about right now. I never knew anything about it until I got this job right now. So I do safety. I'm a safety supervisor for a contractor here in the Hampton Roads area, and that's their bread and butter is hospitals, um, commercial and HVAC. I knew nothing about hospitals and hotels and all this stuff like you said, and all the terminology now. It's got my kicker going because I'm like I have no idea about brazing and soldering and seeing these air handler units. I knew nothing about that. I just was always in the heavy industrial side. So I'm learning a lot of this within the past year. So it's pretty interesting. I didn't know that much stuff went into buildings and everything. I've never even worked on the ground. This is the first time in my career that I've worked on the ground. I'm always, 2, 3, or 400 up feet in the air working outside. But
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's a cool experience with the schools. Like I said, the construction
yeah,
world. I think the young generation don't understand. I think they just think of
no,
carpenter, plumber, electrician, and you're doing a house and you're getting hurt,
yeah,
your back's busted. But with with all these new tools, I wish I had these tools
man,
back when I literally started. The drill gun just came out.
really?
The drill gun, I was using an electric drill.
Wow.
I had to use my scratch awl, pound a hole through the tin, and screw my screws into the freaking sheet metal.
No way.
Yeah, so a
Oh
drill
my
gun,
god.
I'm like, oh my god. And now these tools today, I tell you, I don't know who your favorite. I'm gonna tell you my favorite and
Yeah.
my least favorite.
Okay.
I'm talking like the top dogs. My
Let's
least
hear it.
favorite's DeWalt. My favorite's
What?
Milwaukee. Yes,
Oh, get out of it. Oh
DeWalt.
no.
I was a DeWalt user for
Let's hear it. Let's hear
25
it.
years.
All right, let's
So
hear
for
it.
the past 25 years, 2 years ago, I bought a new drill set. I bought a new compressor, and I bought a
Okay.
new miter compound saw. They all burnt up within a year. Within
You
a
said
year. So
new.
either new.
Okay.
Just when I was renovating this house that I'm in, I'm like,
Yeah.
holy shit! If I would have had, like, say, I'm thinking about being I'm a business owner. If I had men in
Right.
the field, how long would that compressor have lasted? What, a month? And then I
Oh
would have had to
wow.
buy another $600. It was a dual tank compressor. So I'm,
Uh-huh.
air nailing wood, doing trim, all that kind of stuff. And
Uh-huh.
it's just, I'm just like, I'm going back to Milwaukee. My first Milwaukee tool I used was metal steel case. Didn't have plastic. It was all metal. And I remember doing an aluminum factory in Joliet. They had these blocks of
Where?
aluminum.
Aluminum
It's
factory.
off of 53, right over Ninth. If you go over Ninth Street Bridge in Romeo, gosh, Stateville Prison. I think that's called Division Road. I haven't been out there in years, and it's 53, and I
Uh-huh.
think you keep heading southbound. It's on the east side, and we did. I remember I had to make these huge custom gutters, but they did stuff with aluminum. A
Oh
semi would come
wow.
with an aluminum block, and they would
Okay.
melt it and flatten it down. And they said they had aluminum blocks like 2 by 2 by 2. They said
Yeah.
it weighed like 3,000 pounds. I was like, holy shit! It was such
Whoa.
condensed. I was like, wow. But I remember I was running. I had to make custom gutters for this building. It was like 12 by 12 high by 12 deep,
All right.
and then I had like an 8-inch downspout coming down. I can't remember what the hell happened. I know I had to finish installing the downspout. It's raining out.
Yeah.
I had to make a cut, and I got shot. No
Oh
ground fault.
no.
This is in the early '90s,
I do not
and
like
then
electricity, man. Mm-mm.
man, it's
Mm-mm.
like I said, I'm old school, and
Yep.
yeah, we like the old guys, even the guys in the '60s doing these high rises and these iron workers and all that shit,
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, the tools today are so much better and more efficient, and
I,
just it
I
makes
don't know. I don't know. See, I got a rebuttal to that. See, I'm more the opposite. The job sites that I've been on, and you want to talk about some beat up tools. Now you got to remember where I'm coming from. The older DeWalt's, like those big 9-inch, we would use the big 9-inch grinders. Never had a problem with DeWalt. The grinders that were always in the gang box that no one used were Milwaukee, and you would I mean for years I've never even seen a Milwaukee. I've never seen any Milwaukee on any industrial job. The ones that I will see is you will see DeWalt grinders, DeWalt impacts, and what's the green one? Metabo.
Ryobi,
Uh, the big
Ryobi.
is it Ryobi with the Metabo? I
Oh
want to
wait,
say, it's like a, well, it's people say Metabo when they mean a cutting blade, but it's literally the name of the grinder is Metabo, and it's green and it's got red writing on it, and it's specifically designed for cutting. Like when you hit the trigger, it doesn't just start the RPMs. It starts off slow and then fast. But the Metabo blades and the DeWalt's, they will, especially the DeWalt electric impacts, man, you can beat them things up. But the newer DeWalt's, like with they've got some grinders that have like a break in them. Trash,
that's what I'm saying. The new
trash,
DeWalt. I think the new DeWalt
trash.
went to. Well, they're all in China, and they went to. They're garbage. I still own DeWalt stuff
Yeah,
because I'm like, well, it still works,
yeah.
and it's just I went over to Milwaukee,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just because I went through $1,500 in tools that burnt up,
Oh
and
man.
it's just real aggravating. It's like I was loyal to them for 25 years, probably more than that.
Dang.
And then when that happens, it's just upsetting. It's like, are you
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah. Oh, we
Yeah,
got
it's just
we, we got Jesse Brown in here. It says the proper tools make the job go better. Yeah, and you know what? I have a controversial question that I have to ask you. This is just I'm just thinking. I want to know from our point of view. Here in the United States, we make from all the plants I've been on, we make the best steel. We make really good products, or at least we used to, right? And what's the rolling joke around here? when you see something and you pick it up, made in China, it's cheap. It's cheap. I get confused because I would see these videos, and I saw one just recently where China had I think it's the highest and tallest suspension bridge in the world, and they have these massive bridges, these massive suspension bridges and tunnels and all that stuff, and even with the rail. So I want to know, from your experience and knowledge, do you think that when we get stuff here in America that says made in China, do you think that they're just giving us all the cheap stuff and they're using the good stuff? Or do you think that everything they make is cheap? Because I've seen videos where they're erecting hospitals in a week. You know what I mean? What is your take on made in China in America versus made in China in China? What do you think about that?
Well, I have a good insight on this because I did a
All
little
right.
bit of scrapping in my time. I
Okay.
had like a little scrap kit after I had back surgery back in
Uh-huh.
14. That's how I
Yep.
got out of the trade. That's why I do my own thing.
Yep. Oh, I gotta
Um,
plug up my computer. I'm listening. I'm listening. Sorry,
and
guys.
I started scrapping. Uh, I was getting with equipment from uh, Carrier Supply House. I was going to plumbing companies, plumbing supply houses. I'm getting
Uh-huh.
good steel.
Okay.
And
Good.
Evraz, one of the largest recycling companies in the world, they
Uh-huh.
have two places here in Colorado.
Okay.
I was recycling well, I was doing, let's see, two dumps, two. I was doing 40,000 pounds a month of steel.
That's a
And
lot.
I would bring
That's a
it,
lot.
it's a lot. So, and plus, I had auto parts stores. I had a couple mechanic shops. So, like the rotors, I had good steel. So, I
Okay.
went to Evraz Recycling. Look them up, EVRAZ.
Okay.
Uh, they're huge, and they're like, Eddie, we'll bring out a 70-yard dumpster to your yard, and you just fill it up, and we'll just flip it out. Every 2 weeks, I was filling them up
Okay.
with steel. So they take that steel, our steel, they'll melt it down or they actually crush it and grind it to little pieces. It goes through a grinder. It goes in little tiny chunks, smaller than like little pieces like the side of your little thing, even smaller than that.
Okay.
Uh, they ship it to China. They ship our steel to China. They ship our
Okay.
aluminum to China. So
I'm
I'm like,
listening.
where's that Connex going? And the guy I dealt with, he goes, oh, that's going to China, our aluminum. So they're probably
Okay.
taking our best steel, our best aluminum from our country to build their shit. And then
Oh.
after the scrap or say the scag, whatever you call it, say the bad stuff, maybe they're making that cheap shit and sending it back to us. So that's all I could think of. But that's how I had this inside
Oh
scoop because what I did for
no.
about 2 years. It was a good business too. It was going really good. So copper, brass, aluminum,
Yeah.
electric motors. Because man, air handlers, furnaces, air conditioners, coils. Oh my God, motors. That was just nonstop. It was just a really cool setup I had going on. I was kind of in the big league. It was for just me, and I had a guy in the yard that would break down the rooftop units and break down the AC units and furnaces and even on the
Yeah.
water heaters. I'm like, take the brass off that, take this, take that, throw it in the bin.
Yeah.
Before you know it, because every week I'd get like 100 water heaters. When you start taking that brass off, I had a tool. You cut the metal off, and I would have
Uh-huh.
pure brass. I would have pure clean
Wow.
brass. I wouldn't have any metal. I had a pretty good system. I was
Okay.
recycling probably 5,000 pounds of electric motors a month, copper. It was
What were you bringing
stupid.
in like that? You said 5,000 pounds a month. What are you taking home like that?
Um, my best year, well, or did I do it for 3 years? I did it for three. My first year it sucked. Second year, I might have hit 65 cash. My last year, I did 105 cash. Scrapping.
In what year is this?
This was 2015, 16, and 17.
Cash.
Cash.
Oh my
I'm
God.
saving the planet.
Wow.
Being what I did for a living, I know where the money is. I did
Yeah.
a college, Elgin College, back in 2012. And this
Okay.
was when steel was at its peak. This was when copper was at its steel was like 270 a ton. Copper
Uh-huh.
was like three something a pound, 370 a pound.
Okay.
Two of my guys, I'm the general foreman, superintendent of the project. I'm
Yep.
like, guys, I see money all over here. The owner, he just wanted the coils and the big motors from the air handlers. I'm like, that's all
Okay.
you want? I'm like, okay. So I set up with there's a scrap yard, Sullivan Recycling, like in Aurora, South Aurora, Illinois. I
Okay.
says, hey, can you send out dumpsters to the site? I filled up 10 dumpsters with steel.
Yeah.
Long story short, in 2 weeks, I pulled down 40,000 cash.
What? In 2 weeks?
2 weeks. I
With how
pulled
many
out
men?
3 inch copper lines. That run was over 200 feet. Four
Oh.
runs over 200 feet of pure
With
copper.
with how many
And
men?
there was just three of us.
You telling me you only had to pay two guys for 2 weeks and you got forty
I
thousand
I
dollars?
I gave them both $5,000 each. So like I said, we did 40 total. I took 30. I gave the general contractor, he knew what I was doing. I
Yeah.
said, listen, he was a cool cat.
Yeah.
I said, listen, I'll buy the next 5 pizza parties for this
Pizza
project.
party.
Yeah. So for like 40, 50 contractor, construction workers, I
Yeah.
paid for four big meals. You know,
Oh
you got to
my
give to make
God.
it.
Wow, man.
So
That's
from then I knew scrapping there's money in it, but you got to know where the big money is. And Carrier Supply House,
wow.
every like out here, that was out here in Colorado. Every like HVAC contractor drops off the furnaces, air conditioners. They would
Yep.
allow them to drop off the rooftop units.
Okay.
And I had contractors calling me, "Hey, come to the bowling alley. We're replacing 7 rooftop units. Can you get out here?" So the guy I'm renting land from on his farm, he had a 42-foot flatbed. I says, Mike, I'll give you $500. Let's go to this project and we'll haul the equipment over because I want to make $1,000 off each unit. Seven
Oh
units,
my
that's
God.
$7,000. I give him $500. I pay my guy $30 an hour.
Cash.
Cash. Cash.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, I had a guy in 16 and 17, and then my medicine got screwed up because insurance wouldn't cover it. My back was
Oh
in so much pain.
no.
So I ended up selling it to him. It took him 12 months to buy me out. He's like, oh, you want money for that?
Oh.
I'm like, dude, it took me 6 months to get Carrier.
Oh
I said, this
no.
supply house, it took me so long to get them. The VP came down from Indiana, and I
Yeah.
gave him my proposition because I was buying the rooftops per ton per like, okay, I'll give you so much for this and this and that. I was buying stuff to
Wow.
make it that big, and that's how it was. Nothing was free. The only thing that was free was from the apartment complexes because if you remember, 17, 16, 17, 18 out here in Colorado, they're renovating all these apartment complexes.
Oh wow.
So I was getting all the appliances. So in 15, where I was making a few bucks, I was doing good, but
Uh-huh.
not to the big, big level. I was
Yeah.
getting working refrigerators, working stoves. I'm cleaning them up. I end up having to rent where I was renting a townhome. I had to rent 4 extra garages to store all these appliances. And I would sell them off Craigslist, $50 a pop. I got
You
them for
were.
free, cleaned them. I had extension cords and fridges plugged in, so when people come, they see the freezer works and the fridge.
Oh my God. Yep. Just right on the spot. That's
It's
cool.
just it's just about thinking outside the box. I guess, if there's young guys out there listening, it's like I'm not out there going garbage house to house, garbage picking up. That I was a scrapper. I was like, I thought outside the box. I thought big.
Mm-hmm.
Going to a supply house, I even had a couple of heating companies. They were just focused on replacing a furnace and air. I said,
Mm-hmm.
I'll go to your site and I'll pick them up and haul them away for you for free. I said, I'm doing you a service. So give me the air conditioner, the coil, the furnace, the extra line sets. I had a contractor like that. I was getting stuff from.
Wow.
And that was every freaking day I'm picking shit up from the guy, you know? I mean,
Dang, man.
yeah, it's just, there's so many ways to make money, you know, and it's just,
You gotta be
it's
on it.
like I was like I ever tell Jack one time, I said, man, your videos with these people on TikTok, they're so depressing. I'm like, they're not thinking outside the box to make money,
Yeah.
man. There's so much you
Yeah.
can make money, you know.
I think that generation. So me, I'm 1989, so I'm a millennial, and I think I'm kind of like the last of it. Us millennials who are born from like the mid '80s till I say right at about your 1993, 94. We came in the era of technology, not technology, so we still had to hustle. I grew up in LA in Southern California, and and around that time, you would see all kinds of people on the street selling clothes. Hey, I'll come and vacuum your house for $50, or they would just get it, get it, get it, get it. Before TikTok or anything like that. But people now, man, they just, I don't know if it's just me, but have you seen the people begging on the street are getting younger and younger? Like, I've seen guys with cardboard signs saying, please help. And I'm like, dude, you have a better hairline than I do. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what's going on out there, but it just seems like the younger people, if it's not making money on YouTube, they don't want to do it. Or behind a camera or something, or if it doesn't come easy, they want the overnight success, man. And it's not like that. You have to find a niche, and you just, like you said, you have to think outside the box and be whatever you're good at. That's where you're gonna make your money. You have to figure out what it is your talent is, and they
All
just won't
right.
take the time.
I don't know what like they teach in these schools, because my kids, like I want to be a grandpa. I mean, I'm 55 years old.
Nice.
I'm a 69 baby.
Yeah,
And I just everything is expensive. I mean, I'm
it
sorry,
is.
Biden effed up all this shit with shutting down the pipelines, shutting down the drilling, shutting everything down. I'm gonna say it, and then now you want to start doing it again? It's like it wasn't broken. You should have left it alone. An old friend of mine, she had a pumper on her land, and
Really?
she the money stopped coming her way because they made it in Colorado. The sanctions, the regulations, made them shut all these things down.
I don't
She was
believe it. You
getting
serious?
10
You're
grand a
serious?
month.
You're serious?
Yeah, with the
And you know what? These are
regulations.
the. I had this conversation earlier today. These are the same people who want something for nothing. Everything costs something. If you want to work out and you want to run around all day, your body needs food, right?
Yeah.
If it's wintertime, especially you living in Colorado, if it's wintertime, you need power. So you're gonna have to turn your heat on. Well, when you're doing that, that's coming from somewhere, right? You're gonna have to plug into the grid. And people don't realize that. These liberals are just like, oh, I want to go green. How? Where is it coming from? There's
Yeah.
not enough power. You say you're saving the earth, and so you buy an EV, and what do? You plug the damn EV into the grid. How do you gotta charge it? Oh well, we have charging stations, and then what? You go back home to your house where it's 20 degrees outside, and your house is sitting at a comfortable 72. Your house wasn't charged up by the solar panel all day. It's plugged into the grid. And those people have they don't think logically. They have no idea where the power comes from, and that just the fact that you would even stop the drilling. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're in enough deficit as it is right now. One thing we need to do as the United States is use our resources. We have plenty of gas. We have natural gas, coal, and we have oil reserves. And you just want to cut the keystone off. You know what I'm saying? Like, even our neighbors. Shout out to all our neighbors out in Alberta, man. In the oil sands,
Yeah.
they're going strong, and we're working together. And I don't know what's wrong with these liberals, man. They just
Well, the electric car, that's a big flop in general. I don't support child labor at all. It's like, what? So
oh
let's ruin
man,
South
yeah,
America. Let's ruin these families. Let's ruin their drinking
yeah,
water. Let's ruin other countries.
yeah.
So you could drive. I
That's
mean, it's
deep.
bad enough we get all that cobalt, lithium, and these stupid things, but
Oh, yeah.
those batteries are huge. Cobalt, lithium in South America. I mean, I've seen some documentaries in South America. It's sad. It's like it. I'm up.
Man.
I'm mad. I'm like, if you have an electric car, you're supporting child labor.
Oh my
These
god.
people are getting sick. They were shutting down these mines because people were dying. Even like 5 years ago, they were shutting down these cobalt lithium mines in South America because
Wow.
it's a deadly mineral. Is that what it is? Is it a mineral? If I'm not mistaken,
Cobalt.
is that a mineral
Yeah.
or is that a lithium?
I don't know. I know it's
What?
in the mine for sure. I know I've heard of cobalt.
But it's like it's pretty mad. And those people, it's like you see people going in the dumps, in the garbage dumps, getting plastic or whatever
Oh
to
man.
sell so they could get food. And it's so upsetting. I think I've traveled different parts of the world, and
Yeah.
you humble real fast when you go to a third world country and you come back here. We have everything.
Oh my
We
god.
have, yeah, everything's expensive now because of crap that just recently happened the last few years.
Yeah.
But it's gonna change. It has to change.
It
Yeah,
has to, man.
I'm an optimist. It can't stay like this forever. It's not sustainable.
But
But
it's gonna take guys like you and me to push. We have to push the trades, man. Like, people aren't realizing, the people who are working now, who've been in the trades, like yourself and other gentlemen who've been doing this for 30 years. We have to get their knowledge. And I think that the younger generation does not understand that. They just expect things to happen. It's not how it works. Somebody has to maintain a railroad. Somebody has to maintain the nuclear power plant. Somebody needs to pass on the knowledge, but there's nobody to pass the knowledge on to because they don't want to do it. And then guess what? Check out. You got a big circle. Now we've got Americans who are, unfortunately, they're upset at the immigrants who are taking the jobs. One, they shouldn't be let in here illegally. Okay, that's a whole nother deal. But they're coming in, and now you have people saying, well, they can't take our jobs. Well, we offered you the job, and you don't want it. And then again,
yeah,
like you said, the school isn't pushing the trades. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it's like, you cannot get mad at anybody. You can't get mad at any foreigner, anyone who is taking an available position. And
Oh, exactly.
we got to push it though. We have to push it. And the schools aren't going to do it. Why? Because America runs on debt. Why would I why would I push trades when I can push college and get into debt, and now I can lock you in, and I
Yeah.
can make you work a 9 to 5, and long as I get the money. If you make 40,000 to 80, or if you whatever you make, if you making $80,000 a year, my job as debt is to make sure I get your $80,000 in my pocket and not in your bank account, and that's what they do.
Yeah, what's the sad? The last 2 decades, every five of us that got out of the trades,
Yeah,
only two replaced us.
that's crazy.
So for the last
That's
20 years.
crazy, man.
So I mean, it's just I remember when I would get a young apprentice,
Mm-hmm.
and I would see talent in them, and I
Yeah.
would be like, do you think you'd want to be a foreman? Would you want to run a project? What do you think? You know, because they would see me at the print table going through the prints. I'm measuring
Yeah.
mechanical rooms. I'm going
Yeah.
to the
Nice.
meetings, dealing with the architects, the owners, all this kind of crap.
Yeah.
And I would do everything in my power to make them as sharp as they can be, because I'm not infuriated by any other person that knows as much as me or is
Yep.
better than me. I
Yep.
want
Same.
someone that, because it's like, you know what? Hey, I want to take a vacation next week. I need you to fill in just for a week while I'm
Yeah.
gone, but I want you to be successful in your future for your family and yourself. And
Yeah.
I'm not patting myself on the back. These are just facts. You know, I mean, they would throw apprentices under me and I would train them. I mean, they go to school, they do that part in the book part,
Yeah.
but then on the field part, they still need to learn. And I knew of, with this same company, I had 5, 6 different apprentices. Um, One of them is, now he owns his own business,
Okay.
HVAC
Nice.
business, and
Nice.
3 of them are superintendents, different companies now, and the other 2 guys, they're foreman material, they're running projects. But it was really
Nice.
cool to know that they kept advancing past going become a foreman, then
Yeah.
let's say a general foreman, superintendent. In the trades, you just don't have to be stuck working with your hands.
Nope.
Thursdays on the job, I didn't put a tool belt on. I
Yeah.
did that already.
Yeah.
I'm in charge of something more responsible. And a lot of guys be like, I don't want that headache, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. It is.
But
I
it's
mean, it is a headache. But go ahead.
but it's something I enjoy doing. I love the pressure. I love running projects. I just love doing it, and it's cool when I would see a young guy with that eye of the tiger, so to speak. And I'm
That's
like, if you
like,
want it, I will teach you everything I know. I'll show you how to lay out. I'll show you how to read prints. I'll show you everything that I know. And then
yeah.
the rest is up to you. Because I would have a guy, I remember this guy, Paul Zima.
Uh-huh.
I had about 40 men. I was running, I think, about 40 million in work projects. I had
Damn.
9 schools going on at the same time.
Wow.
And one of my foremen, he goes, "How do you handle it?" He goes, "I'm like going crazy just on this one job." He goes,
Yeah.
I got
Sorry.
this.
Handyman, I want to stop you real quick.
Yeah.
For you guys that don't know, when Handyman says schools, you guys aren't thinking about this because you guys just send your kids to school in the fall. You have no idea what's going on. In the summertime, there are particular schools in the area that the second that bell rings and school is out, guys like Handyman and his crew, literally the next Monday, will be walking through that school and tearing it up. They literally tear the whole inside of the school, the outside, and they revamp it. New pipes, air conditioning. They make the school comfortable for your children to learn, and you guys have no idea because all you guys know is when school is in, it's 20 degrees outside and you guys are comfortable. You guys don't think about that. That shit does not just happen. It's guys like Handyman who are going in there and repairing it. Schools have to be maintained. Like I said on the video, you don't just plant a seed and throw it and then you get a school. It has to be maintained and built. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, thanks.
I had
That
to
was
say that.
very good. Very good point. Our work isn't seen. We're felt. You feel us. You know if you're warm and
Wow.
cool. And
I never
because
heard
of
nobody say that.
it was the Clean Air Act Ronald Reagan had put
Yeah.
in back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure. I know the act had expired, but I don't know if it got reinstated with the government. But there
Uh-huh.
was a real thing to have the best clean quality air in these schools for the children, for the kids. So it was really cool to be part of something, even for that, knowing that someone else's child, whether it's a kindergarten or high school, college, because I've done grammar schools, high schools, colleges, done them
Yeah.
all, hospitals. That's even worse. Hospital work.
Oh yeah, a lot of
There's,
people don't like that. You got to get
oh,
passes and
they're
uh,
rough. But
yeah.
but no, the clean air, having the best clean air for the students, it was really cool to know that they had some of the built systems, and I was part of the team. And it's the carpenters, it's the plumbers, it's the mason contractors, it's the roofers, uh, everybody, the pipe fitters, everyone involved to like you said, summer get out. You're not lying. When that bell rung, no shit. There'd be times I'd be walking through the building at 4:30, 5 o'clock at night,
No way.
and there'd be teachers just cleaning our shit out of the classroom. And you're like, oh, we're almost done. I'm like, oh, I'm just looking. I'm just getting. I have my blueprints walking through, and
That's
because I was
awesome.
saying such ahead of the game because we had such a short window to
Yep.
get this done,
Yeah.
and we called it 612 of nightmare.
Wow. And I have to be
Because
guilty. I've got to be guilty. Like I said, I just got with this company, Handyman. I had no idea that that world existed. I had no idea. I didn't find out until last summer when I first got hired with this company. They say, yeah, you'll be at the schools. I'm like, the schools? What are they doing at the schools? I had no idea. I'm sorry. I
well,
had no idea.
you're doing a cool thing. You're part of a pretty big process. It's a cool thing to be part of. You know,
Yeah.
that's in you said West Virginia?
No, no. So they call it Hampton Roads, and it's basically like the seven cities. So it's like the biggest city would be Virginia Beach. So you got Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton. Um, I I guess the biggest thing what they're known for is their military presence is insane here. We have the F-22s are here at Langley in Hampton, and then you got an F-18 squadron at Oceana, and then you've got the SEAL team at Little Creek. SEAL team 2, 4, and 6, 2, 4, 6, and 8, or 2, 4, 6 are here, and then you've got the naval shipyard that carries all the America's biggest naval yard is also here in Norfolk. I don't know if you ever heard of Norfolk Naval, but there's a big military presence here. And it's one of those cities where you're only here if you're going here. Like, there's nothing to pass through. Like, it's the other end of Interstate 64, so no one's passing through here to go somewhere. If you're here, this is where you're going. So they call it Hampton Roads, Tidewater. I love it.
I saw a comment. I don't know how long ago it was. It says union
Uh-huh.
versus non-union. That was
Yeah, he
at
was
4:30.
asking. He was asking when you had to answer when you were talking about you that did both.
Because
Back when you
I've
were
done
talking about.
both, but my dad's shop was originally union, but we didn't cut corners. I mean, we had
Yeah.
a full shop. We fabbed, all the machines to fabricate ductwork fittings, the whole 9 yards. But I guess it depends on benefits. I went union. I left the family business to go union. I couldn't convince my
Yeah.
father to go back into it. And I'm like, all the guys I was training non-union,
Yeah.
they end up going into the union. I'm like, now these guys are making more money than me, even though I'm a 10% owner, which don't mean shit to me anyways.
Yeah.
You know, um, there's advantages of both and disadvantages of both, but I think union's the way to go. Uh,
Yep.
if someone doesn't know how to get into the union, you still have to take that pre-aptitude test.
Yep.
You still have to have
Yep.
something up here. You have to,
You do.
you just you can't be a dum dum.
No.
That's I guess the unions will weed out the people that doesn't have the intellect in order to become union. I've worked with some amazing men and women with such intellect. Like, I felt stupid. I felt like I
Yeah.
was sitting
They're out
next to a
there.
freaking judge or a lawyer. The way they spoke, they're so
Yeah.
well spoken, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's like,
They're
wow,
out there,
I'll
man.
rub some of that off on me. You
Yeah,
know,
they're out there. Well, look at it, man.
yeah.
I know I've talked about it, man, but I seriously, man, if I could try to talk to you off camera where we can set up, and have a specific topic to where I get on your channel and then I bring you on and we can go at it, and and talk about it, because I love picking your brain and stuff, man. But I'm glad that you even came here and we got to do this. But man, we got to hook up. I'm getting ready to get off here and
Yeah.
um,
Last time I
do
was gonna
something.
try something happened. I can't remember, and I'm like, I'm just
Yeah,
scroll. I just been so dang busy. I'm like, my
same.
phone's blowing up from contractors from Alaska right now. I
Oh
gotta I
man.
gotta get online. I gotta make a few phone calls. They're 2 hours, so my time is 5:15.
Oh,
They're
that's right. Your
3:15.
mountain time.
Yes, I'm Mountain Time. So Alaska time, they're 2 hours behind, so they're only at 3:15. And
Oh wow.
yeah, something with my plumber and my carpenter. We got a something with the brewery. We got to coordinate. So it's got to be a tight
Oh
coordination
man.
because we're shutting off water. Uh, yeah, I have a lady that screams
Dang.
every day because contractors are working. She thinks, yeah,
Oh no.
there's tenants upstairs above the space, and they
Yeah.
hear a guy running an impact. And I keep telling them, like,
Oh
guys,
yeah.
I'm
No.
like, no impacts. Use a regular drill driver because the impact is, it's a
Yeah.
wood floor joist, and they're off it and
Oh
they're drilling
no.
through it. And I'm like, you can't do
Yeah.
that. All
Oh,
right,
that's
man.
awesome. Well, Handyman, I appreciate you giving us some game, and you guys out there, check out his channel. Definitely a lot of game on there, and man, just ask questions, man. We can get you guys in the trades. You don't have to go to college, man. You can live a very good life. But I appreciate it, man, and beautiful flag in the back, man.
Thanks. All right.
Absolutely. All right, have
That's
a
my
good night, man.
grandfather.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
All right. Take care, brother.
All right, you too. Good night.
Bye.
Man, that was cool, man. Good talk, guys. Again, every Wednesday, 6 o'clock, Sundays too. Hey, I appreciate you guys checking out the channel, man. Any questions? Leave a comment under the video. I will make sure that I get back to you guys as best as I can. It could be anything, any stupid questions, whatever. Um, hey, my version of begging. Hey, I said just like the guys back in 2003 who used to be standing in front of the liquor stores. Hey, man, buy my mixtape. Share my channel, y'all. Anybody y'all know that's looking for a job, share the channel and tell them, hey, you need to get into trades. I'm going to send you this channel, and he going to help you out. All right, that's me. So, hey, you guys, if y'all not home, make sure you make it home safe. Drive safe. No DUIs. All right? I appreciate you guys. Welcome to 6 to 6. I'm out.